Hi, I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm a pagan, but you don't have to be a misunderstood minority to know there's something wrong in this country when too many people don't want gay people to have equal rights, and politicians who are supposed to represent the whole country are trying to get prayer back in public schools and are trying to push their religious agenda on us. These are the same people who think that children can't openly celebrate Christmas in school, which is a flat out lie. I think it's terribly ironic that the people who are accusing homosexuals of having a gay agenda are the same people who actually have an agenda. These are the same people that make up bogus statements and facts about the gay community, including but not limited to the fact that gay marriage will destroy heterosexual marriage, gay marriage will bring the country down, gays are all pedophiles and perverts, and homosexuality isn't natural, despite the fact that it is found in several animal species. But homophobia is only found in one. I also think it's a bit odd how politicians who are against gay marriage, with the reason it destroys the sanctity of marriage, aren't also saying that divorce and adultery ruin the sanctity of marriage. Because indeed, the more harmful thing to marriage is in fact adultery and divorce, not two men or two women getting married. In reference to religion in this country, I think it's terribly depressing how most of our conservative politicians still think this is a Christian nation when, if one would just open a book, one would discover quite quickly that our founding fathers were not Christian, did not approve of the idea of this religion, and fashioned this country specifically to be one that did not have an official religion. Now, the fact that I'm pagan does not mean I'm anti-religion. My being pagan is not the reason I don't support prayer in school. The reason I do not support teacher-led prayer in public schools is because it is terribly rude and presumptuous to assume that all students want to pray to the same God in the same way. However, I do support individual students who wish to pray at any time during the day, whether it be during the Pledge of Allegiance or during lunch or any other time the student sees fit. Contrary to conservative belief, children do celebrate Christmas openly, and they even do so in public schools. This is because Christmas has become a secular holiday that even non-Christians celebrate. I myself even took part in Christmas parties in my dirty communist and liberal public school. I really don't care if some people think that global climate change isn't real, or that evolution is just a scientific theory still. But I do care when these people who are supposed to be well educated, but really appear to know less about American history and religion than I do, are trying to create a Christian nation while using their religious beliefs to shape our laws, which include but are not limited to our laws on abortion, gay marriage, birth control, and religious equality. I agree with many of our conservative presidential candidates that there is something wrong with this country. However, the problem with this country is not me, is not my gay friends. It's not Planned Parenthood, or women who get abortions, or the doctors who perform them. It's not our phantom war on religion, our apparent immorality, or our godlessness. The problem with this country is in fact our lack of education. It's our apathy. We have lost our passion and our values. No one protests anymore. We care more about pop culture and aestheticism than we do about our wobbly society. No one has jobs, and most of the people who do aren't getting paid enough to survive and aren't getting the benefits they need. That's what the Occupy protests were about. They weren't about handouts. They were about the average middle-class person fighting for equality from the millionaire and billionaire corporations who would rather skimp on employee benefits than put a cap on their own income, or even pay more taxes so the struggling middle class doesn't have to. It's about equality all across the board, and this is a very unequal society. Equality seems to only apply to a few select favorites. I'd like to say this ad was paid for by some political party, but I don't agree with that. I don't like how political parties are getting these huge funds. Anyone still know if the Green Party exists? It does, but you never hear about them because they don't get the same funding, but they still have websites, so why not look them up? Maybe we should start funding them and maybe try to steer attention towards third-party candidates. I'll bet some third-party candidates would do more good for this country than the conservative and democratic candidates who are still caught up in a dick-measuring contest. If enough people voted for the third party instead, it wouldn't be throwing your vote away. All this is the reason why I started my own political party. It's neither liberal or conservative. It's in fact both liberal conservatism, conservative liberalism. Personally, I'd say it's financially conservative and socially liberal. Everyone is treated equally regardless of race, religion, sexual orientation. I call my political party Colonial Reconstruction. This is a political party that is more a social statement. It is based on the ideals of our founding fathers. Though the actual issues have changed over the past 240 years, the principles remain the same. Equality for all, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the right to protest the government for redress of grievances. Colonial Reconstruction isn't afraid to rattle cages for progressiveness and change. I'd like to think more and more people will turn to this kind of activism, even if they don't call it Colonial Reconstruction, because it's the kind of fire-in-the-belly proactivity that's really going to save this country. I'd like our government to stop what it's doing and take a look around. Alright, let's just look around for a second. Let's look at what's going on in this country, or rather, what should be going on in this country and isn't. What have you done for Native rights? And I mean Native American and not Native white versus illegal alien. Native American. Have you seen the quality of the reservations? You probably haven't, because I'd like to think if you had, you'd do something about it. What are you going to do about the quality of our public education? And don't you think you should rework the budget so that education gets more money too? What about the minimum wage? In Massachusetts, it's $8, and from personal experience, that's not enough to survive on. I'm sorry. What do you plan to do about renewable energy? Are you going to actually create jobs? I'm starting to feel that a college education is going to do more harm than good, considering I'll be $30,000 in debt and probably won't have a job to earn the money to pay it all off. I'll have a BA in English, so hopefully someone will hire me. But just in case, the strip club down the street is always looking for dancers. Isn't it sad how that's become a backup plan, and I'm guessing I'm not the only one? These are issues we need to be talking about and caring about, or else nothing is going to change. So, to our conservative candidates, and even our Democratic candidate, as a member of the college-educated, struggling middle class and religious minority and hardcore female, you should probably work on your priorities, because right now, not only am I not going to vote for any of you, you all sound like ignorant meatheads, and I can't say I'll be staying in the country if any of you get elected. So this is me, exercising my right to free speech, and I hope you've all enjoyed this, maybe thought of something of your own. But regardless,